All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? Happy Monday to you. It's Monday, August 2nd, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about sales. We're going to have a sales-focused week, actually, here on Morning Perspective. This morning, we're going to talk about 5 tips to becoming the best salesperson. So 5 things that you can do to become the very best salesperson that you could possibly be. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Happy Monday to you, man. I'm excited about this one. We're going to talk sales all week this week here on Morning Perspective. And this should be an enlightening week for you guys. It's definitely going to be an exciting one for me because, for me, there's nothing better than to talk about what I've done my whole life. It's like, sales at this point in my career is kind of like breathing in and breathing out. I've been poured into so much from other people. I've learned so much, and so I always love, sharing as much of the knowledge that I have been blessed to gain over the years with other people. So this is going to be a fun week for me, and hopefully it'll be a fun week for you guys because, whether it's business or personal or whatever, sales is the fabric of how the world operates, right? And I think that, so often we don't realize in every relationship that we have, how important it is to understand sales, which sales is basically, the core of communication, the core of language, how we actually communicate with each other and share information is in some way, shape, or form. It is sales is part of life, right? So if you are not skilled in this area and some of the skills that we're going to talk about this morning, if you are not aware of how all of this works, man, it makes it so much more difficult to exist, to have a good marriage, to have a good business relationship, to be successful in business. It's difficult to do all of those things if you are not aware of exactly how sales works. So with that said, I want to say good morning to some folks, and then we're going to jump right into it here with 5 tips to become the best salesperson. Ed, good morning. First on the draw again, man. He's in the pole position every morning almost now. Daniel Good, what's happening, man? Tammy Clark, my girl from the West Coast, good morning to you. I think you're hanging out with Jeff this week. Jeff's out traveling. I think you're with him. So if you are with him, tell him I said good morning and hello. Jared Bird, good morning. David Martin, Todd Gurrell, Dan Hill, what's happening, guys? Good morning to you guys and happy Monday. We're going to get this week started off right here talking about in my opinion, one of the most important things that you could possibly have in your life, which is some sales skills. So the 5 tips to becoming the best salesperson. I'll drop these in the comments. If you guys don't have a pen and paper this morning, don't sweat it. I will drop them in the comments when we're done here. So number 1, and these are not in rank of most important or anything like that. Just 5 tips. So number 1 is be authentic, be yourself. I see way too many salespeople out there looking at somebody else that's in sales and trying to duplicate their personality or duplicate their approach. Now, there are some things that you can 100% take from somebody else. There's tips that you can take from somebody else. There's a sales structure that you can duplicate. But the single most important thing that you can be as a salesperson, as a provider of solutions, which is what a salesperson really is to be authentic, right? To be yourself, because people sense that, right? They are drawn to people who are authentic. They're drawn to trust people who come across as themselves. The opposite of that is if you're trying to be somebody else, many times people are going to sense that, and that level of trust either reduces or goes away, right? So being yourself and being authentic is a super, super important piece of sales. And I'm telling you, if you actually notice when you interact with salespeople that you don't necessarily have a good experience with, many of the times it's almost like they're putting on a show instead of just showing up as themselves. So being authentic and being yourself is number 1. Number two, and this is one that I don't think you hear nearly often enough, but it is in my opinion, it's one of the things that has made me most successful with clients. It's made our company most successful. Number two is do your research. So if you are going after a customer, right? If you are pursuing somebody that you would like to do business with, one of the most important things that you can do is to understand that person, understand their company, understand some of the challenges that they might be having in advance of actually sitting down with them. So doing your research and understanding that customer and understanding their company is super important, down to every single piece of data you can find on that person. You know, where did they go to high school? Where did they grow up? Where did they go to college? Where, you know, what are some of the things that they're interested in? We can find all of these things in today's world, right? If we just try hard enough. So do your research and understand who it is that you're trying to target, because the more that you do that and the more educated you are on that person that you're talking to and their company, the more that they know you already put in effort, right? And, you know, one of the things that we try to stand firmly on at the Payment Group is really trying to understand our customers, trying to do the research to try and understand their challenges in advance of us even meeting with them. But then as we get into the meeting, we ask better questions. We do better in that meeting. We understand the customer far deeper than most of our competitors because of the research that we put in, the work that we put in up front. And so this is what we teach people to do across the board in any business, but specifically in construction businesses. This is extremely valuable because the more that you understand them, the better value, the more valuable the conversation is that you're going to be able to have with that client, and the more problems you are ultimately going to be able to solve for them. And that is, guys, money is exchanged when problems are solved. The faster that you can solve the problem, the more money is going to be exchanged and the higher value you have to that client. So doing your research puts you in better proximity of being able to solve those problems. So number two is do your research. Number three, which I kind of alluded to in the explanation of number two, but number three is ask great questions. You know, salespeople, the perception of salespeople is very different than what reality really is. Most people think of salespeople as somebody that's a really great talker. And the reality is that that is true to some degree, but ultimately what we are looking to do as salespeople is to ask great questions and do the least amount of talking that we possibly can. Now, with that said, if you are able to ask great questions, if you are a solid orator, that you can ask great questions and then shut up and listen for the answer, you're going to become one of the best salespeople in any industry, in any market. It doesn't matter where it is. If you do your research, that leads you to ask great questions, and then you are able to uncover the answers that other people aren't able to uncover. That is really what it's all about, right? Asking great questions comes from, number one, being authentically yourself. So being present, being yourself, not being nervous. If you're just yourself, you will have less nerves. You just be yourself. And number two, being prepared by doing your research, right? If you can do those things, you will 100% be one of the best salespeople in any industry, in any market, period. So number one, be authentic, be yourself. Number two, do your research, be prepared. And number three is ask great questions. All right. So number four, this one is one that is probably the main reason that salespeople fail, in my opinion. One of the reasons that salespeople do not reach their full potential is you have to be a great listener. This has been something that I have been aware of, that I have been working on, that I am constantly trying to find ways to become a better listener. In fact, starting this week, I'm recording long form podcasts, interviews with other people in order to practice this very skill that I am constantly trying to improve on. But being a great listener is one of the skills that you will see the very best salespeople have. Because when you ask great questions, if you are not a great listener and you don't allow the person who is answering the question that you just asked to continue talking to whatever level they are comfortable, then all of the rest of it is for nothing. So being a great listener is one of the key indicators of a phenomenal salesperson. When I am interviewing salespeople or potential salespeople, it's one of the things that I look for the most, not just necessarily how they answer questions, but how attentive are they during when I'm explaining something. How good of a listener, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a listener is this person that I'm talking to? Because the very best, the most exceptional salespeople are not just great talkers. They're not just great at explaining things. They're not just great at doing research. They're not just comfortable being themselves, but they are incredible listeners. They're also great note takers. Note takers are the money makers. Remember that. But you're a great listener, and then you're taking notes, man, you're going to be a great salesperson because you're actually able to listen to the things that other people might have missed, because most people are not great listeners. Most people are great at explaining things. And especially when people get nervous, many of them will talk too much. So if you become a great listener and you're able to be yourself, be authentic, ask the right questions, do your research, be prepared, and you're a great listener when people are sharing things with you, you're going to be an exceptional salesperson. Think about it. All those things are the key ingredients to people being successful, solving a lot of problems, and in turn making a lot of money in the world of sales. The very best. If you take this list and you pay attention to those people that you interact with, you'll see that they check all these boxes. Number 5, the single most important thing that you can walk away with if you are in sales, or you know somebody in sales, or you want to give people advice that are in sales, is probably number 5. The most important thing on the list is focus on serving, not selling. How can you actually help this person? It's not about what you're selling. It's not about the problem that you're solving with the product that you have, but it's how can you serve this person? You know, most of the time, that product and those solutions are going to be part of that. But if you focus on serving these people and you don't focus on selling them, it's a longer play, right? It's not something that becomes transactional. But I promise you guys, as you do this, as you continue to serve people over a period of time, you continue to put solving their problems ahead of selling them something. Providing value first is the key to every relationship. If you're able to provide value to someone, you are actually going to solve their problems, right? You are starting to make an impact in their life and their professional life, and in turn their personal life, by focusing on serving, not selling. If you are able to serve people, they're automatically going to trust you more because you are putting them first. If you focus on selling them something or what the solution is, how you can provide them something that's in some way costing them money, time, etc. If you focus on that first, their level of trust for you goes down, doesn't it? But if you focus on this entire list of what I'm talking about here, being yourself, doing research that helps you understand this person that you're talking to, asking great questions as a result of the research and being more prepared than everybody else, and then you're a great listener, and most importantly, you focus on how can I serve this person? How can I provide them value? How can I solve something for them, even if it has nothing to do with your business? Many times, some of the value that we bring to our customers is referring them to people that have nothing to do with us, a connection that we have, somebody that we know that might be able to solve a problem that has nothing to do with paving. But if we're able to have an impact on somebody and they can genuinely see that we're coming from a good place, the chances of us actually doing business with that person eventually significantly go up. So if you focus on serving and not selling, and you have a big enough sales funnel that you don't have to push anybody, right? You don't have to necessarily put any pressure on anybody to move. to do anything right now, like this deal is only good till the end of the day kind of thing. If you just focus on serving people and not selling them, really genuinely trying to solve their problems, really genuinely listening to what is there. Sometimes listening for what's unsaid is some of the most important listening that you can do. What is not being said to you, and then inquiring about that. Asking great questions from really listening. I promise you guys, you'll be the best salespeople in any industry. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It makes no difference. I've been in technology sales and now in the construction space. The science to this and the way that it's supposed to work is all the same. And the people that are the best in construction selling do the exact same things as those that are selling technology, medical devices, whatever it may be. They're doing the same things because sales, guys, is about people. It's about interpersonal relationships. It's about trust and value and how those things are exchanged. If you are a person that puts other people first and serves them, focuses on how you can serve them and how you can provide them value, and you're a great listener and you ask great questions and you're prepared and they know that you put in the work in advance and did your research before you had a meeting with them, and you are authentically yourself, there is absolutely no way that you're not going to be successful in sales. It is impossible. This morning on hashtag Rise and Grind, Glenn Lundy, my quote was in the Rise and Grind planner this morning, for those of you who have them. And it says this: it is impossible to get up every day and do all the right things and get the wrong results. And that is exactly what we're talking about here. It is impossible, guys, for you to wake up every day, go and do all these things that I just listed, these 5 tips, and somehow get the wrong results. I've just never seen it happen. Maybe there's somebody out there that has done it all right and got it all wrong, but I've yet to meet them in 42 years on this earth. So I promise you guys, if you use these tips, I've taught them to hundreds and hundreds of people in my career. And those that listen, those that follow these, they are the greatest in their industry. They're always successful. They always feel great about being a salesperson. That's the other thing. Most people, those people that are questioning, oh man, are salespeople good or not? Well, it's because they're probably not good. It's probably because they are trying to sell people. They're not a good listener. They're not being authentic. They haven't done their research. They're just trying to peddle stuff. But if you do all of these things, you're going to feel great about yourself. You're going to feel great about the problems you're able to solve. And you're going to go into every day with enthusiasm, knowing that you can make an impact by actually serving and helping people. That's what it's all about, guys. That's what salespeople do best. So if you are a salesperson or you know one, use this list. I promise you it will change your life. I promise you the impact that you will make and the way that you feel as a result of it will be incredible. And it will change your perspective on the idea of sales. Most people have a negative perception of salespeople in general. It's because they don't do these 5 things. If you do these 5 things, you're going to wake up every day and feel great about what you do because you are solving a lot of problems every single day. That's it for this morning, guys. I will drop the list in the comments here. Actually, Eddie Brown already dropped it in the comments here, so you guys are good to go. But I appreciate you guys being here, and I look forward to sharing more on sales throughout this week, man. It's going to be an awesome week. Wishing you guys an amazing week. It's the first week of August, so make it count, guys. Give it everything you got, and I will see you tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.